In this video we will solve question 4 of the additional problem sets. Now let's start the video by reading the question. The market for DVDs has supply and demand curves given by this equation and this equation here. So this is the supply equation because as you can see, Q has S subscript, so quantity supplied. So this is then is the quantity demanded. So this is demand equation with a negative sign in front of the slope coefficient here, which is 1. So respectively, where P is the price in dollars per DVD and QS and QD are in DVDs, in other words, quantities of DVDs. So construct and label a diagram. That's the first requirement. Then it says, suppose state government levies a tax of $9 on each DVD sold. $9 on each DVD sold. Okay, so collected from sellers. So pay attention to this, sellers, yeah? So that's important here. So let's draw the diagram as it asks us to do that as one of the requirements, in fact the first requirement. So this is here our, so let me just put, okay, let's leave it black. This is price line and this is quantity axis, yeah, quantity. Now let's draw first the supply equation. The supply equation is P equals 2QS, P 2QS. Now there is no intercept in this case, so intercept is 0. So we'll start from right here. This would be the starting point. So this is 0 quantity and 0 price. And maybe I will just take another line here, short line. So that's our supply S, yeah, supply line. So now next is the demand line. Demand line tells us there is a negative slope, but the intercept is at 42. So this line here is in, let's say, dollars, because DVDs are sold in dollars here. And let's say this is somewhere here is 42 here, yeah, $42. In that case, our quite an idealized demand curve here, yeah. So it crossed at 42, let's say. And we have our equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity here. So that's QE, QP. Let's first, before moving ahead with the solutions, work out what the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantities are before the tax is levied, yeah. So in that case, we will simply take these two equations and equate them. So prices are equal at the equilibrium price point, yeah. So that's gonna be 2QS equaling then 42 minus QD, and also at equilibrium quantities are equal. In other words, QS will be equal to QD, right? So in that case, we will have one Q here, one Q, and we call it QE, yeah, QE, which is this point here, corresponding to that crossing intersection point there. So we will replace these with E's now. So QE, QE, yeah, because they are equal. And we will collect the like terms. So QE's are the same. So we move it to, so this one here to the left of the equation. So let me put this that way, yeah. So that's going to be 3QE equals 42. And from there we can work out what the QE is. QE, the original quantity in equilibrium, is 14 here, yeah. So that's 14. This is 14 DVDs, yeah. Now we'll use that quantity and work out what the price is. So equilibrium price PE is now QE, yeah, I mean 2QE. So that's 2 times 14, and that's 28, right? So this is $28 here, $28, right? So these were our original initial equilibrium point and equilibrium parameters. 14 quantities or 14 DVDs, and each one at $28. So that's a lot of money for a DVD, isn't it? Okay, let's get rid of these now. Now we just solved. We need the space, and we don't want to scroll down because we'll lose the sight of the diagram. I'll be coming back to this diagram quite often now as I answer the questions. What quantity of DVDs will be sold in equilibrium So this is about after the imposition of $9 tax. Now, because this tax is levied on sellers or collected from sellers, the ultimate effect will be on the supply. So we'll take the supply equation, and this $9 will affect the supply price and supply quantity, because if suppliers are paying the tax to the government, this is going to be cost for the suppliers. So it's the cost of production or cost of supplying will increase. So we will add the tax. So this is going to be T here, but I'll just put 9 because we know what the value of T is. It's $9. So this will be our new supply equation now after the tax is levied. So let's call this new supply equation. Yeah, this is our new supply equation. Now, to answer the question now, we will take the new supply equation and all demand equation. Because demand is not affected by the tax, we'll just keep it as it is, QD here. And then solve for equilibrium quantity and prices. As before, we will just simply label or equate the two equations and label the Q's as QE's, yeah? So in that case, it will be 2QE, which is basically this one here, but it's actually QS, yeah? So when it's in supply. But because we are looking at the new equilibrium point, and where QS equals QD, this is all then one supply quantity, or quantity supplied and demanded, isn't it? So I'll just label it as QE plus 9 equals now this and this thing here. So 42 minus QD, yeah. All right, so solving this, we have now, we can move QD to the left hand side. That gives us 3Q. This is E, by the way, yeah, it's E, sorry. So QE equals now 9 will be moving to the right hand side of the equation, or another way of doing it is just subtract 9 from both sides of the equation. That gives us something like 32, right? So 33. Now, if I solve this for QE, let's put this. If I solve this for QE, I get 11. So new quantity in equilibrium is 11. So we sold, after the tax is levied, a lower number of DVDs. So that makes sense because we expect the price to go up because supply shifts to the left in this case. Yeah, so I will show this in a diagram in a minute. Now, next, what we do next is work out the prices. Yeah, what the prices, new equilibrium prices. So we can use any of these, one of these equations in this case. Any one will do. So I'll take second one, demand one this time. Yeah, in the first solution I took the supply equation to work out the price of equilibrium price. Now I'll take this second one. It doesn't matter whichever you take, is going to give us the same result. So 42 minus QD, which is our QE now, yeah? So it's 11. And that is showing us 131. So this is the price, a new price in equilibrium, market equilibrium for DVDs after the tax is imposed. Yeah, keep that in mind now. Now, let me just answer the next question. So that's we've done. We've kind of solved this question. Next question. What price do buyers pay? Now, buyers pay usually the equilibrium price. The equilibrium price here is what the buyers pay. Yeah, this is the new equilibrium price. How much do buyers spend in total? Now, before we move, maybe I will simply go back and answer this question graphically as well, so that it, basically we're gonna be answering E in advance. Yeah, so because explanation goes smoothly in that way. So let me just clean this. It's easier to explain with graphs these questions. Yeah, so mathematically we can always solve it, but we may not understand where the numbers are coming from, why they are what they are. Yeah, so let's skip these equations for now, but we will draw the new supply equation. You see, this equation is new, isn't it? this is what is changing here after the tax is imposed. So this is additional $9 added to the original 2QS. So this is not changing, so we are not going to do anything with it. So we will just plot this again. Now notice this, originally it was 2QS, so starting point was here, because there was no intercept, there was no additional value added to this expression. But now we added 9. 9 here is a constant, which is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So at 9, so let's say this is 9 here, somewhere here is our 9.9 here, yeah? So this is 9, yeah, this is the distance here is $9 distance, and we will now draw our line parallel to the original supply equation. Now parallel to the original supply equation is something like this, yeah, it's parallel. Perfect, that looks good to me. So this is S prime now, so new supply line, and this would be our new supply and demand intersection, which is our equilibrium point. And at equilibrium point, we solved the equation earlier, remember? We got 11, yeah, QE was 11, so 11 units of DVDs at the price of, which is another equilibrium price, our new equilibrium price of $31. This is the price after the, so price of DVDs after the, let's get rid of that, after the tax was levied, right? So new price point, old price point, old equilibrium, new equilibrium here. Now, what price do buyers pay? Buyers in equilibrium pay the equilibrium price and buy the equilibrium quantity. How much do buyers now spend in total? So buyers spending in total, so that's total spending, equals number of DVDs they buy at the price of 31. So that would be the total spending. So this is dollars, yeah, so this is in dollars. Again, the solution is 341. So that's the total spending. Quantity of DVDs bought times the price paid, which is this line here, yeah? Yeah, so I'm gonna clean this because I need the space. So I answered that question too. Cross that out now. Next, how much money goes to the government? Now we need to find, in order to find this, we need to sort of work out how much money the sellers receive. Sellers do not receive $31 here. Remember, $31 is what the price is paid by the buyers, but then $9 of that goes to the government because the seller will have to pay that tax from their sales, yeah? So we will take away 9 from 31, and that gives us something like 22. And it turns out it is this point here. So where the 11 corresponds to the supply line, it is the point of effective price suppliers receive. So that's 22 here. The difference here is 9. This difference here is 9. So let me just put a blue line here. Here is 9, so 9 here. Yeah, so that's the amount of tax levied on sellers. So buyers pay $31, but sellers receive $22, and $9 will go to the government. Now, how much money goes to the government? So to find how much money goes to the government, we'll just have to multiply the number of DVDs sold at the new price times the tax rate, which is 9. So total government revenue, let's put TRG, 9 times 11, which is now 99. So this is the tax receipt, yeah, that government received, or tax that's been paid by the seller. Perfect, that's done. So I'm gonna clean this now as well. And that is also answered now. That's answered. Now show the above results graphically. So I've just shown this. So you see how useful it is using the graphs. It turns out I didn't copy the last question of this problem. And so we missed the part F here. So I just added it, and I will answer that as well. So we have so far answered all these questions. So next is F here. What fraction of the tax does the seller bear? Now we graphically showed that the share of tax paid by government, by the seller and buyer can easily be found here, right? So the total tax is 9. Yeah, total tax is 9. So $9 per So let's put this here. $9 is per DVD, but since the buyer is paying now $31, which is $3 above, or $3 more than what they paid before, and they paid before 29. Remember, this is the $29 that they paid before. So they are paying only $3 now extra. Yeah, so they are paying $3 extra. That means then buyer's share is $3, right? And now how about sellers? Sellers are paying the rest in this case. Yeah, so they have the higher burden. The rest is 6. So summed up, this gives us a $9 tax. Yeah, right. So given that, we can work out what the fraction is. It says what fraction of tax does the sellers bear. So sellers are bearing now, so fraction of sellers, or share of the sellers tax is basically 609. That's the 2/3, and as such buyer's burden is now 1/3, isn't it? Yeah, so buyer's fraction, that's buyer's bearing, is basically 1/3 as a result. So these are the answers here. So they're quite easy, isn't it?